going from the roof.
All right, my friends. Time to get to work.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to just go around the class and ask a few questions.
We're going to finish yesterday.
We're going to finish yesterday's. Thank you very much for reminding me. So we're going to discuss childbirth. And the halachas of childbirth are as follows. First of all, a woman who's giving birth is considered to have a life-threatening situation. You can be Mechala Shabbos for her. Nevertheless, because it is the way of the world, it's a natural occurrence, and not even in 1,000 die.
Only one way, Rabbi. Only one way to the hospital and not coming back. After Shabbat.
Yeah. So not even 1,000 die. So b'kitzur, we said you have to minimize in malacha as much as possible. This is different than what we say about a regular choleh, where we say you do what you need to do, especially according to the opinion that says hutra. Hutra means you don't have to find a guy or anything. Here it's different. Here we say you have to try to minimize the work as much as possible. I'm talking about childbirth. Find a guy, do with the shinui, prepare in advance. So minimize the work as much as possible. Yes?
I just find a question about the pregnant woman when the husband you take her to the hospital, you cannot go back. What about if it's some person is a really bad condition and you do a mitzvah? You allowed to go back to you?
No.
Also, you cannot.
No.
Wow.
What are you telling me today? Rabbi Citron at Hotmail.
Rabbi.
There's another Rabbi Citron out there that's enjoying it.
Oh, you're trying to get it?
No.
Rabbi, you got guests.
I assume somebody. Oh yeah, I did try to get it. Somebody
You
else.
got guests. Shabbat Chatan. Everybody coming to your home. You stay in the hospital.
Guess. What do guests have to do with Shabbat?
No, you beg a mitzvah for to serve a person.
When you do a mitzvah, you don't get extra credit to do averot. There's no trade-off. No trade-off.
Okay.
Okay.
I remember reading somewhere that women is allowed to go back.
The woman is allowed to go back.
How can she go back if
Someone
she's
told me
in
recently that
labor?
if she has little children that won't be properly received properly without her, so she's allowed to go back.
But she's in labor.
They want to throw.
Let's say she didn't.
Mark, the woman take it.
Two women.
Two women.
Yeah, two women in the car.
I think we mentioned even the lady that helps.
I'm sorry?
The lady that helps the woman.
You just said it's helper.
That's the name.
Doula. In English, it's called a doula.
Okay, the doula. So
Or a midwife.
Midwife.
And a midwife is that a doula is allowed to go back? Why?
we mentioned.
We mentioned the question. We did mention the question about being able to go back because it says in the Gemara, in some cases, we give extra leniency because otherwise the person won't do it in the future. But it wasn't clear. The poskim were not clear that you can apply that in every case.
So I find another question.
Very, very limited application.
I find okay. Let's say someone take to the emergency room. He doesn't go out from the car and he honk and then the emergency come outside. They take him inside. He can leave back because he's still in the car.
No muskim.
No.
No muskim.
No, I'm trying to fight. No, it's
No muskim.
So the labor stops. And she's
According to
allowed
some
to
reason, if labor stops, the woman at false was told that she will not be given to ask a non-Jew transported to her home. She's not required to endure the ordeal of waiting in the lobby until Shabbos ends. 13. Shefer Shlema. Then you ledes she'gi b'Shabbos letzchem leLeida. Or if I'm sure leida letia b'Shabbos. Someone says she'en yesh oimet sha'oif b'Shabbos Shabbos. אז הגיל שבא יסילה מנוחת נפש והגוף, מוכן לדעת שלא יסלם להלך, שסלם נקבס משמע ודעת לחץ של המתון ויסחוי. Okay, he doesn't really give a halachic explanation for it, but he's basically saying that the situation of a woman who is English on the top, Hebrew on the bottom. He's basically saying that a woman that is in labor is almost like a woman who is even before she's giving birth. It's almost like a woman who is somewhat sick, so she doesn't have to have the trouble of spending Shabbos in the hospital when she doesn't have a room. Right? They're not admitting her until she has enough dilation. So a guy is allowed to take her back. But that's not the same as saying a doula can go back. The doula, she's not sick at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing.
So she will stay in the street, Rabbi?
You're talking about a different thing. He's talking about a woman who still didn't have the baby yet, going back so she should be able to have a comfortable Shabbos, not be stuck in the hospital. The doula comes, she helps the woman have a baby. Now she wants to go home. That's a different thing. There's nothing wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? A different thing.
So like the doula, she's going with a pregnant woman, and they told her you have to. It's not the time. So both of them stay out in the street, or the guy can take both of them back.
For the doula to go back.
She helping her probably. Something.
I don't know.
She's staying in the street. Rabbi, what are you going to do over
Not in
there?
the street, she's in the hospital.
Oh, nobody
They're
there.
not kicking her out,
She
right?
could sit in the lobby with her.
What about it?
I just want to
So she's
explain.
ready
I
for
just want to
action.
explain.
What if there's another woman?
I just want to explain.
Where's the food?
I just want to explain. A doula, you have to realize, is a paid job. Don't do it for free. So you could say, okay, even though it's for pay, but the woman who's giving birth has a affinity for her, she likes her, so she's more comfortable with her. So we'll give her a heter to go. But what's the heter to let her go back? So she should come again. Let her not take the job next time. We'll find another doula. You know what I'm saying? It's not pasha to go back.
But no lunch, no nothing.
Not simple to go back. Sorry?
Saying though, I saw the kids with the kids that they let the mother.
Okay, that's also because the kids are like a chodesh and masakana, and you're going back with a goy, not with a Jew.
There was no problem of. There was actually a funny case. It was the daughter. It was a daughter who was an older mother already. Brought the older mother, to the hospital, and then they got let out on Shabbos. So the mother, I guess, was allowed to go back home, but the patient, the grandmother, wasn't allowed to go back.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Because she had kids to take care of, and she had.
Interesting. Although, just for argument's sake, not arguing on that side, for argument's sake, when the goy is taking back the woman who has a heter to go back, going into the car is not as strict. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that was part of the discussion. It could be there was chumim involved.
Right.
No.
You pray?
It did.
Pray? Good.
What are you going to say, David Leib?
What if there was another woman that she was waiting for? You know, another one that was going to go into labor around the same time.
Why does she have to be at home to take the call? She can be in the hospital to take the call.
Okay.
Oh, it's not like someone's running and getting her.
By Hatzalah, the heter that I've heard of is that they need to be in that area because that's where their calls are coming in or whatever.
Right, because that's your.
So that exactly.
We want to cover too many Christians, so let's do the job for the Christian.
That was the Shabbos. We had when Shul Ward Out in Young Israel. It was an elderly lady. She must be nearly 90. Who choked on her food in the Kiddush. And we have a doctor there. There's like 3 doctors, but there was one there. And he took care of it right away. Like, they had a defibrillator. Hatzalah came. Within 20 minutes, she was in the hospital, like in the ambulance out of the hospital, and she was pretty much okay. Baruch Hashem. Yeah.
One thing interesting I read is that if a Jew is driving a sick person to a hospital, in this case, once the sick person gets out of the car,
You can't drive anymore, yeah.
You cannot park.
Yeah, you have to give it to the
You
guy.
can't even tell the guy.
No, you can tell the guy I can't move it, whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it. Yeah, you could hint to him that he can do whatever he wants. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're allowed to give back the key.
To take back the key?
Yes, Muktzah.
The key is Muktzah. It's better not.
Fair enough.
Better not. I mean, if it's attached to another key, maybe. But what are you going to do with it anyway? You don't need it. Better not. We did see this discussion about traveling back.
It was I think just sent to the Rabbi. On Gmail. It's a whole interest on the site.
On Gmail? Which Gmail?
No. By email, it's an email.
Die. Hospital brochure.
Boy.
Which? That one's a boy. Yeah.
How old?
Year and a half. Now we have two. Now we have a girl.
Ah,
Yeah, a little girl. 5 months.
how many kids you have?
No, it's not opening. I don't know what's wrong.
7 kids, 2 grandchildren.
Oh, shit.
I need permission? I don't know why I need permission. I'm asking you permission.
Yeah, that's good enough. It's not good to have.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
We wait for you.
Okay, I'm not saying it. Okay. The kids we spoke about helping a non-Jewish woman give birth, which in theory is not allowed, as you can explain to them. We don't do this except for Shabbos observant people. There is a machlokes about Karaites, if they're considered Jewish in terms of being Mechal Shabbos or not. Kiva Eger holds that it's mutter. The Alter Rebbe brings 2 opinions, actually. In terms of the time that she's considered a Yoledes, so technically it's when she's either sitting on the birthing stool, she's ready to give birth, or she's the blood is already coming, or when she can't walk because the head is already coming out. The kids are what we said. The poskim say nowadays that's too late. Can't be and wait until then. You have to prepare in advance. So when you reach the point in time when you realize that she needs to go to the hospital, whatever number of dilations per minute, whatever they call it, then you have to go. In terms of the birth itself, we said that once you are helping her have the baby, you can do whatever is considered normal to birth the baby, even if it's a particular thing that is not going to be pikuach nefesh. Like, for example, you're allowed to straighten out the baby's limbs, which we said normally you can't straighten out limbs on Shabbos. But that's what you do after a baby's born. You're allowed to cut the umbilical cord, even though that's not essential. The baby can stay attached to the, what is that thing called? Placenta. And the baby will be fine. No, but that's the normal thing that we do, so it's included in the header. B'kitzer, the mother is considered a Choleh sheyesh basakana for the first 3 days. What about the baby? Now that I'm talking, I'm wondering. What about the baby? How long is the baby a Choleh sheyesh basakana?
30 days, huh?
The baby, it says that?
That's probably.
No, it's for sure not 30 days, because it says with Feirish that a baby is a Choleh sheyesh basakana after the bris for 3 days, assumed to be Choleh sheyesh basakana.
But before that?
I don't remember hearing any.
We want to make sure it's not a nafel within 30 days.
Okay. That's to show it's not an eiffel.
Right.
That doesn't, it's not the same.
No, I didn't see that.
All right, I don't know what it is. So the kids are, obviously if the baby has a condition dealt with, that goes without saying. But the kids are, how many do we have?
Missing one, not praying.
You counted Elchanan? You counted Elchanan?
No.
He's coming.
He's not praying.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, check. He's
No,
not.
if he told me he's coming, then he's not praying.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. The kids are first 3 days and the first 7 days. First 3 days, we assume she is Choleh Sakana, unless she is sure that she is not, and the doctors are sure that she is not. Otherwise, we assume that she is. The next 4 days, what's the halacha?
Next one. Sorry.
C-section, they say, may be longer. Maybe longer. I didn't see a certain time. I think it says, you know what, I don't want to say for sure. I don't want to say for sure. I have in my head 30 days, but I think it's more.
It's a price of admission.
I think it's more Choleh B'das Roisha, depending on how they feel, and how she feels. Not a specific time. The kids are the next. Very good. The next 4 days. What is it?
4 days after what?
The first 3 days, we assume that she needs treatment. Sorry? Shin Lamed. Three days, 7 days, 30 days, yeah. The kids are, so the first 3 days, even if she says she doesn't need it, if we feel she needs it, we are machal for her. The next 4 days after that, right, for a total of 7, the next 4 days after that, if she says she doesn't need it, we believe her. And we don't override what she said. But if she says that she needs it, or the doctors say that she needs it, or even we see that she needs it, then we can be machal. If these 3 and 7 days are starting, if they're calendar
4
days.
days after it, only if she needs it. What if she said?
If she says, or if the doctors say, or if we see. Either one, any of the above. Oh. Too complicated for me. When my wife is expecting, then I'll look at it again. It's a number of minutes before how long you can go. Whatever, we didn't get to those details. The Kitzer, for the first 30 days, she's considered a Choleh she'ein ba sakana, and therefore anything she needs can be done by a guy. The only exception about that is, I don't remember if we pointed this out when we learned it, that a chaya, which is a woman that's given birth, is considered a sakana for heat.
Right.
She needs heat, even for heat. If she's cold, we have to heat the room for her, even after the 7 days. Not even through a guy, even by it. That's for cold. She's a musukenes even afterwards. Okay.
So after 30 days to
Sorry.
during the 30 days or during the 7 days?
Even during the 30. During the 7, she's in general a choleh sheyesh b'sakana, unless we're sure that she's not. Otherwise, we assume she is. Otherwise she is.
The baby will create this, I mean, I guess.
No, sorry. Even in the next 4 days, we assume that she needs it. It's only that if she says she doesn't need it, we believe her. That's all. That's the only difference. If she says she doesn't need it in the first 3 days, we don't believe her. We do for her what we do for everybody else because we assume that she needs it. In the next 4 days, if she says she doesn't need it, okay, she doesn't need it. I'm sorry?
The baby will be usual.
For how long? I don't know. I never saw. It says there? I never saw. I don't know. So, the first 3 and 7 days is a machlokes. That goes without saying. I mean, even a child is. But it would seem that at the beginning, for sure, is yesh b'sakana. I mean, just freshly born. I mean, so many things can go wrong. But I don't know exactly what the getter is.
Especially if the baby is born before the time, it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Until after.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A premature baby, you have to do whatever it takes to keep him alive.
The whole time until like he completely.
Sure. Till he's okay.
What's the whole issue I read about the 8th month?
The 8th month, in those days, they did not have any means to keep the baby alive. They didn't have means to keep the baby alive. The baby was born in the 8th month. Because that month is the most dangerous, even more than the 7th month. Because Begashmis, the lungs are developing in the 8th month, so they can't develop outside the body. They have to be in the body. So in those days, an 8-month baby used to die. The only thing is, you weren't always sure if it was an 8-month baby. But if you were sure, or if the way it looked was an 8-month baby,
then essentially
you can't do anything.
You can't give up because it's going to be
give up. It's not only see a person that's alive and he's going to die even in 10 minutes. You machal Shabbos to keep him alive for 30 seconds longer. But a person that was never alive in the first place and is going to die is considered like not alive almost. But we didn't really go into that because nowadays they have machines that
it's just
incubate.
I was reading it and I was trying to make sure that there wasn't anything.
Yeah, in those days the baby was considered Muktzah, mamash Muktzah, like almost like a dead child. It's hard to say, but that's what it was.
We did say about יולדת שהלכה לבית חולים, and when they said it's not a time, and מצטערת, she can go back home with the LeNochri.
That's what he just said with the guy. Yeah. Very good.
Why were the lungs able to be produced whenever it's grow in the 7th month outside the womb?
If it's born before they start developing, I mean they're developed, but I'm saying before they develop in a certain way, they can develop outside the body. But if they're in the middle, that's when it's. I don't know, I can't explain it.
Pre-developed.
Also, the baby's smaller.
It's a vegetable.
Yeah.
And what category?
Vegetable is alive. Vegetable is alive.
A baby who's.
No, of course not.
Choleh שיש בסגן,
Yeah, presumably. Until he's dead, he's alive. I mean, brain dead is something else, but vegetable is not the same as brain dead. Brain dead is a machlokes hapoiskim. The person who's brain dead is a machlokes hapoiskim if he's considered alive or dead. That's an interesting shaila. Can you machal Shabbos to keep a brain dead person alive? When some poskim say he's already dead, not considered alive. So what do you mean machal Shabbos for? Others say no, they're alive. So that's an interesting shaila.
I think the person is still breathing.
It's machlokes.
All this testing, I mean, it's relative. But in cases people brain dead and then come back.
Brain dead? I don't know about brain dead. Coma, yeah, but brain dead? I don't know. The halachic specifications for a person to be declared dead as a brain dead person is much more strict than the scientific ones. You know what I'm saying? The tests are more strict. But I don't know if it's possible to recover from it. Yeah, I think so. If a mother passed away, unfortunately, so originally you used to be able to cut her open to save the baby. Then they said not to because we don't know exactly when she's dead, and by the time you know, the baby's going to be dead too. But nowadays they say that with modern instruments you can find out exactly if the mother's dead or not, and if the baby is still alive, you would be able to cut her open to save the baby.
So you're allowed to shorten the life of the mother
Not allowed, even for a minute.
to save the baby?
Not allowed even for a
Is
minute.
that what you said?
No, on the contrary. I said when you're not able to figure out if the mother's alive or dead, you have to wait till she's for sure dead. And by that time, the baby's going to be dead too. So therefore, in the time of the Shulchan Aruch, you are not allowed to cut open the mother to save the baby because you might be killing the mother. Nowadays, that we have modern equipment, it's possible to know exactly when the mother is actually dead. That's what happens. And to have equipment that at the same time shows you if the baby is alive. And as such, nowadays it would be allowed to operate and save the baby. All right, my friends. We're ready. Very sad situation.
What's the statistic that we Yeah, no.
I think it's in Western countries. I think it's 1 in 10,000. Didn't you look it up? I think you looked it up. I think it's about 1 in 10,000 in modern countries. In third world countries, it's still very high. Very high.
But there's other reasons also. A gunshot wound, mother shot.
No, I'm not talking about other reasons.
No, I'm saying here in this country also, not
You're
just.
talking about birth.
Yeah.
I'm a birth.
Right, no, that she was shot, so the mother dies, then they have to take.
Oh, yeah, that could also happen. That could happen. That could happen.
14 deaths in 100,000.
14 deaths. How many?
14 in 100,000.
So it's more than 1 every 10,000. It's 1.4. Yeah. Okay.
That's a very small.
Very small amount. But in other countries, look up Ethiopia.
Well, Ethiopia is better than
Worldwide, there were
South Sudan.
830 women died from pregnancy-related causes a day.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell you ratio. It doesn't tell you ratio. It doesn't tell you ratio.
That's
Okay. So, right side, we'll go around the table. So ask you if you want, only if you want. No?
I'll go right.
I'll go around from the right.
General review or?
So,
General review, pre-test. Okay, so Emmanuel, what are some of the issues with Amir LeNochri? What, more specifically, what are the reasons for the prohibition of Amir LeNochri?
the issues could be the Amira itself and the benefit. And the reason shlichus, the reasons. You prepare for that? The reasons why it's prohibited.
Can I chip in out here?
If he lets you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that we don't want to, well, I think in general, we don't want to become accustomed to asking them certain things because we might do it ourselves. We might come to do it ourselves.
Exactly. That's the reason. So so shlichus, even though Madar says there's no shlichus, they establish that there should be shlichus here for that reason. And there's one other issue. It doesn't apply in every case, but
Pauli,
one other.
anything Jew cannot do, he cannot touch the word.
Usually, not anything, but most things. Most things. What's the other issue? Something that's actually a pasuk.
I was gonna say, Pasuk says,
What pasuk?
Wouldn't be like
It'd be like a week.
davar. You don't want to be talking.
Exactly. It's davar davar, but davar davar means that your speech on Shabbos should not resemble your speech during the week. But that only applies if you're actually
How
telling
you
it.
say, Rabbi?
The daber davar.
Davar?
That only applies if you're actually telling it. If he's doing it on his own, then it's not with davar davar. Or if you told him before Shabbos, for example, and it's not with davar davar either, but it's still forbidden if he's doing it for you because of the concept of shlichus. Okay, so Ronnie, maybe you could tell me in what way is a Kabbalan allowed to do work for a Jew on Shabbos? In what way can a non-Jewish Kabbalan do work for a Jew on Shabbos?
So we're not going to be the property of the Jew.
Yeah.
We're going to be Malik Ayin, this property, but in a different place.
What do you mean? How could there be Maras Ayin in a different place?
If they know that the Jew doesn't live over it, but they know it belongs to them, it can be in a different area. But if they know it belongs to the Jew.
So you're saying if it's in the Jew's property,
It can be another property. You have one
If it's a known, if the Jew owns property somewhere else and there's a
you said it's not his property. It is his property or
It's his
not?
property. But
Okay,
it doesn't mean that you live over it.
Yeah,
I
it's not
understand,
his
yeah.
residence.
I understand.
It's not going to have actually the benefit from it on the Shabbos. They're not going to be the some binyan. Not something that you do and using it like for.
Is that pashut? Is that pashut? Is it simple that you can't benefit from what a Kabbalan does on Shabbos?
If you're doing something that after you're going to use it for actually, what is it? Some binyan. Something binyan going to be solid.
Can I ask one?
One second. I just want to grab onto one thing you said because I'm not sure about it. You said a Kabbalan you cannot benefit from his work on Shabbos. Is that true? I'm asking the class. Let's say a Kabbalan. He washed your suit. He brought it back
He
Shabbos
scared
morning.
me today, this dog. You know, when I listened to the shiur.
He brought it back. He brought it back Shabbos morning. Can you wear it? I mean,
You made the deal with
chances
him
are
before.
he brought it Shabbos morning that he did it already on Friday. But let's say you brought it to him on Friday afternoon. You said you could bring it back to me anytime, next week, anytime, it's fine. The Mai said he comes Shabbos afternoon, he brings you your suit.
Enough time to choose to do it. Enough
I think that's okay.
You didn't put a deadline on it. If you didn't put a deadline.
Oh, it's okay for sure what you did. My question is, can you wear it?
I think so. I mean, isn't it? It's no different than if somebody built. Well, wait, it's different. If you contracted somebody to make you shoes, but he made it from his materials, then there was no nolad there. But this
That's the concept of a copy.
already
Putting
yours.
the pressure on it.
Any floor that you have enough time to do it, right? Come back after Shabbos to pick it up, so you know for sure that you did it on Shabbos, because basically you limit the time when you could do it. So basically, you have to pick it up enough time that you can do it after Shabbos.
No, but you
Otherwise-
didn't pick it up. He brought it to you.
Hmm?
He brought it to you.
Right after Shabbos.
No, on Shabbos.
You showed up with it.
He showed up with it. It's a cleaner. It's the dry cleaners that delivers. They deliver it.
You don't benefit from.
Is it forbidden?
I don't think it's forbidden.
Yeah.
Daniel says it's not forbidden. Daniel
To
says
wear
it's
that?
not forbidden.
To wear that? Rabbi, to wear
To wear it, yeah.
if we study that, if it is the only one he has and he has no other, we give him
that's
a.
not-
It's not the issue.
I think it has to be.
I think he's actually right.
Yeah.
I think he's actually
We
right.
study that. Yes.
I think he's actually right. I think it's a machloikis about benefiting from what a Kabbalan did, and it's better to not do it. But if you need it for Shabbos, you're allowed. Like the shoes. If you have no other shoes to wear for Shabbos, you can wear them. Very good.
Rabbi, if you told him,
Yes.
don't do it on Shabbos, and he did do it on Shabbos, then he delivers it.
Then what?
Then what would be the issue if you wanted to wear it? You specifically told him, don't do it on Shabbos. He did it on his own. Remember, we learned in Amira LeNochri, when you tell them not to do it and they do it, that releases you from.
We did have that concept. We did have that concept even by something that's a guf,
Right.
like turning on a light.
Yeah.
If you told the guy not to turn on the light for you, and he did it, besides the fact you have to fire him,
Right.
but you're allowed to benefit from the light. So you're saying perhaps the same should be about clothes. Could be. I don't see any reason to differentiate.
We studied that, Rabbi.
It would seem.
A boy can do it in his place anytime he wants.
No, but we're talking about wearing them. Matamer?
You know, what we mentioned about the cover, I remember that deal with colors for some being on.
Choleh Shushay Minyan, correct.
So, like, basically, not very like wood, it's going wood.
Correct. Correct. That's
Under
also
Shembinyan or Shembinyan Kavua?
Shem Binyan. Because when he builds it, people will remember that he made it and know that it was for your house. Maybe it would still be Maratayim. So the kids of the Kabbalah can't do it on your property, and you can't tell them to do it on Shabbos. That's the Bekitzer, yeah? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. לא יעשה חברך ולא יעשה הגוי מלאכתך, מה שניתן שעשו לישראל להניח לגוי לעשות מלאכתו בין ביום טוב ובין בשבת, מדאורייתא.
Yeah.
That's not the Ikar Halacha.
I know, I'm saying maybe that was just trying to add to his question. That's what I was
Kol Malacha Lo Ya'asu, most Rishonim hold this on a smachta. So, but yeah.
right. I wasn't thinking a lot. I was thinking the questions in the manual on why we don't we're going with the
Right. Yes, I hear you.
What about the price? We agree on the price and the terms, right? Also,
That's defining a compliment.
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That's the definition of a
It's
Kabbalah.
not a compliment.
That's the definition of a Kabbalah. Well, now that you're mentioning it, maybe give us some more. Tell us, how do you define a Kabbalah, David Leib? Yes.
It's a contract.
Yes,
It's worked on his own time.
exactly.
You pay him for the job.
Exactly. Correct.
And you decide the terms and then you work out the terms and conditions, negotiate.
Correct.
Just keep fine.
Phil, tell us about doing a partnership.
I was asking a question possible.
Yeah.
What if you didn't make a certain price on it? You said, let's we'll do whatever's fair.
Applied kavanas?
No. We said clearly that's loy kotzatz. Loy kotzatz
There's
has
a way to do. There's something you could say. What's
loy. No, that's loy kotzatz. Loy kotzatz has a stricter halacha than a kabbalah, but it's not like a schir yom either. Loy kotzatz, we said, you have to give it to him with enough time to do before Shabbos, as opposed to a kabbalah, you could give it to him a minute before Shabbos, even as long as you give him time after Shabbos. But loy kotzatz, because he doesn't know what he's getting paid exactly, so he's more doing it to please you, so he has to have time to finish it before Shabbos. But if he has time to finish it before Shabbos, it's okay. Still, some say if you keep working on Shabbos, you have to stop. So that's a little bit of a complicated thing. There's also something called Tovas Hana. Tovas Hana is where you say clearly you're not paying him, but favor. Tovas Hana is the same as a count, because he knows that he'll get something from you in the future. He's not expecting anything specific now, so that's like a count. Rafal, tell us about a partnership. Tell us about making a partnership with a goy in a permissible manner to have a business run on Shabbos. Simple
So we said
question.
a few different ways. What?
Simple question.
So we said that if the Jew will buy in the goy to the company, and the goy will take the schar, money that they'll be making on Shabbat, and a Jew takes one of the other goods, that would be as long as it's Muslim and that's not good. In fact, that would be a break if you're not benefiting from Shabbat, and you have a partner, he's taking all the benefits from Shabbat. And we said that if at the end he wants to split it, you're not allowed to advise this, but if you want to split it, you'd be allowed to bring him up on his own and split the money. What was there? Anything else to mention? Another thing there?
Sounds good. Sounds good. What about Marasayan?
As long as there is a goy in the business, there should be. The truth is, I remember saying that it is problematic if they're going into business as a Jew. But the Rav did say that as long as the goy's name is there, so it wouldn't be an issue, or if it's known that the goy. If it's known, right? I guess by the guy's name being there, but I don't remember another way how he said that it would be.
They have to be there during the weekdays also, not only on Shabbos.
Well, I mean, if he's a partner during the week, he'll be there during the week. What's the question?
Not like it's going to be only come for Shabbos.
Why? He bought Shabbos. It's his business for Shabbos.
We didn't say that. If it's a business that he owns during the week also, then presumably he'll be there like any partner.
No,
If
you said
Rabbi, question was Marat Ayin.
Only the 6 days, and they will come only on Shabbos. So everybody knows, like 6 days, it's the store like won't belong to a Jew. You're talking about Marat Ayin, not about the.
we didn't say that.
Like we mentioned that the guy have to be there
No,
present
no. Lo maskim.
for Marat Ayin, not for the.
Ani lo maskim. We never said
What
that.
do you do in a case, let's say a
We
person?
never said that. You have to make it clear that it's a shared business. That's all. We didn't
Make
say
it clear for Marat Ayin. It's Marat Ayin.
Maritime. You have to make it clear.
Every day see the Jew sitting in the store. Okay?
So what? Maybe he's the worker of the guy.
So there's no, if this attitude, there's no Marat Ayin. Oh.
No, you like any partnership, people know who's the owner. Who's two owners?
So if you know there's no, if you worry about the people that know there's no Marat Ayin, you worry about the people that don't know.
No. Maris Ayin is where there is a truth, and beneath that truth is another layer. You understand? So there's something that gives a certain impression, and then there's something else that gives a different impression. So you have the house is being built. The owner of the house is Jewish. It's being built by a goy. The goy is working for the Jew. That's Maris Ayin. The way he's working is a permissible way, because he's a Kabbalah, he's not a Schir. Okay, that's Maris Ayin. So you have a problem. But over here, the situation is not one where he's working for you. You understand? There's no reason to believe there'll be Maris Ayin unless you're giving that impression. So just make sure not to give that impression.
I'm not asking because let's say you come as a tourist down. Okay,
Just
for a
thinking
week.
that.
Okay. And you pass by next to a Jewish store, so every day you see the rabbi sitting over the Jew. Okay, you're walking. On Shabbos, you're also walking on the way to shul. You see the store still open. Or what? Did you open the store? You put the Goyish worker over there? You don't know.
How do you know who the boss is? How do you know who the boss is?
Cohen's,
How do you know who the boss is?
Cohen's
How do you
Jewelers.
know the Jew owns the business? Maybe he's working for somebody else.
Cohen's Jewelers.
Okay, so don't call Jewish. I'm not saying you should give the impression that you're the owner. No, on the contrary, you should make a name that shows that it's Cohen and I don't know, Gonzalez, Cohen and Gonzalez. You shouldn't give that impression. On the contrary, you should make it clear that it's not that way. But put it this way, the presumed thing is that by a partnership, a true partnership, I'm not talking about a fake partnership where you pay the manager to, you know what I'm saying, you pay him his salary as if he's the owner on Shabbos. That's a whole different kettle of fish. I'm talking about a true partnership. The presumption is that a partnership is known. That's the presumption. Now, of course, if you give the impression otherwise, then you have a problem. So make sure to give the...
Is a Jew, as a counter, allowed to be a counter for Goyish business, open on Shabbos?
Is a Jew allowed to be a what, sorry?
consulting or do any kind of a job or business something on Shabbos.
A Jewish business or non-Jewish business?
Non-Jewish.
Sure. Why not? A lot of people do that. A lot of people work in companies that are open on Shabbos, but they don't work on Shabbos. I mean,
They're owned by
a lot of banks are open on Shabbos nowadays. A lot of work in a bank. You just can't work on
I think
Shabbos.
what you were saying about, can you take out a client?
No. Because,
I didn't understand the question. Can you consult for companies that work on Shabbos, right?
Well, why don't you give the.
As an employee or as take them on as a client?
You get salary.
Let's take a step forward. What if the owner of the business
You get salary.
and a non?
But if the salary, who's paying you? So it's a Jewish-owned company,
No, because.
Jewish-owned company, and part of your job is to consult and give advice, financial advice on how to improve business for a Jewish company.
So a question.
Oh, because I think the Jewish aspect.
A Goyish company is no problem. The Jewish company is more complicated. A Jewish company is more of a problem because you're helping them in their business which operates on Shabbos. Very complicated. Very complicated. I'm not going to give you a psak because it's not easy. Not easy.
What to be an advisor, or was the question?
To work in a company that's Machal Shabbos, a Jewish company.
Oh, really?
It's not simple. I mean, if your job is helping the business, b'chlalos, you're the accountant. So you're working the accounts, and your job is helping them keep their business going, which is open on Shabbos. So you're kind of helping them work on Shabbos. Exactly. That's what it seems. I mean, I'm not giving up psak. I'm just saying. It seems problematic.
There's a lot of places open 24 hours, like groceries. During the week, you're allowed to buy from them.
They're going.
No, Tel Aviv.
You're allowed to buy them during the week.
Why not?
Ask.
What's the sorrow? Why not?
Giving them business.
If it's a kosher,
Same idea as this. What's the difference between this and this?
You're not helping them. Your candy bar is helping them stay alive.
Rabbi,
Buying $600 worth of groceries, where do you go? You're allowed to go to
I mean,
business open on Shabbos?
Of course, in general, you should support Shomer Shabbos. No question about it. You should go out of your way to support Shomer Shabbos. No
I
question
think
about it.
a bigger question is, should you buy from someone who's Machal Shabbos? I think that's a straightforward question. You buy,
Not should. If you had another option,
If it's a
you had
problem to buy.
to buy from a
It's not obvious that it's also. It's not obvious.
No,
If
I'm
you're
saying
doing-
obviously buy from a religious Jew that sells retail.
It's not obvious that it's also. It's not obvious. It's not obvious.
but I have a question, guys.
It's obvious that if you have a non-religious Jew and a religious Jew, you should go to the religious Jew.
Exactly. Even if it costs more, somewhat more.
Was there a getter? I heard a getter recently.
What's that?
10%. I don't know where that got it.
10%.
10% more. You have. She said you should buy. Should. It was big enough commitment for us. I was on a budget for something, and I had a goy or a Jew to spend on. The goy was less money.
Nice. Very interesting. All right, Michal. Tell me about a house that was built.
Sorry, what was the answer of the money sign?
After, we're going too much.
I mean, we said that in general, a partnership is not considered a non-sign situation. Exactly.
That's the answer.
You shouldn't give the impression that it's a Jewish-owned business. On the contrary, you should give the impression that it's a shared business. But in general, we said a partnership is not an automatic Maris Ayin. So a house was built, Michal, including on Shabbos, built during the week and on Shabbos. Rahman Islam, the Goyim built the house for a Jew on Shabbos. What is the halacha? You tell me. Give me the halacha in both cases.
a Skir Yom is much more strict.
Yes.
And they would say that you can't even walk into that house.
Yeah.
You're done. Kablanos is going to depend on the relationship of the Kablanos, where the house is located, if you put in the arrangement that this house should not be built on Shabbos, and then he works on Shabbos anyway, and then it would probably be more legal.
Let's say you didn't.
Let's see if it.
You didn't tell him not to work on Shabbos. You just told him, whatever. Go, build.
Again, I think it depends on the location. And if they're.
Well, if it's outside of the city where Jews live, then it's mutar l'chatchila. I'm talking about BeDiavad. It wasn't outside the city, it was in the city. He already built it.
Yeah.
Can you buy it or not?
I think you can.
According to David Walker, he says there's a ton of buildings that are like this.
Can I
Jewish owned,
Can-
and the workers are tramping in there every day of the week, not Sunday.
I
but
think
Shabbos
it
day.
also has to do, one second, I think it also has to do with, kind of like what we're talking about with, is it known or not? Is it, are people gonna know?
Presumably, if it's attached to the ground, it's known. That's what we said. The presumption is that it's known.
Okay. The house, first buyer cannot buy it. You have to sell it to the goy, and then after that it will be okay. But not before.
Pashut?
זה לא פשוט. Jew, you cannot sell it to Jew. Jew cannot buy it when Jew build it. I mean, when the goy build it for the Jew in Shabbat. Period. You have to sell it.
אז זה כן פשוט, אתה אומר.
זה לא פשוט.
But that's.
כן פשוט, לא פשוט. אתה אומר שזה אסור, פשוט.
אסור, אבל you must sell it to the goy. And then after you can buy it from the Jew. We studied that.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else?
We studied that, Rabbi.
Anybody else, or is that final?
I think it's.
The Alter Rebbe says.
I think it's more factory.
It doesn't matter if it's.
No.
Schiyam is also as long as the Jew owns it. We said if he sells it to a non-Jew, it's mutter.
And then it goes.
Yes, we studied that. Yes.
I believe we said that.
Yes, we said that.
I believe we said that.
Yes,
In the
yes.
Dirshu, he says it.
Yesterday we said that.
It means as long as he owns it. As long as he owns it.
No. Him is a.
Which Simon Yondi?
If the Jew own that, yes, you're right. But if he sell it to the goy, it's a different halakha. The Jew
looking
he
for it
is
now.
not shomer Shabbat. He sell it to the goy. It's done. The goy he can do whatever he wants.
As long as it's
When the
not
guy is building this
That's
house,
it.
Rabbi, is he
Said it.
building it,
Yes,
he
it
owns it, or the Jew owns it?
If the Jew own that, leolam, like he said.
But Reggie, I'm looking at your notes right here where you talk about what we're saying about the public knowledge.
Because some-
Yeah.
Shasadeh,
sometimes
Shasadeh,
You're gonna buy it when you finish it.
then the kablanos would be permitted.
Excuse me? No, it's the water.
Rabbi, what is the exception to this? If the Jew couldn't build this house without having it done on Shabbos because there's a time limit, he was gonna lose the property. I think there's something connected in that where it's allowed.
Allowed. Which rabbi give him okay to build the Shabbat? No, he will not give it Shabbat. Rabbi Sitton never given a worker Shabbat.
That's where I learned it from. I gave up making up stories when I was 3.
Okay, so first of all, Alter Rebbe says, Reish Mem Dalet Zayin. Reish Mem Dalet Zayin. Alter Rebbe says that Bekablonos, Shomeh, if it was done Bekablonos, since there are some that are Mater Lechatchila, we are Somech on them BeDiavad. So if he did it Bekablonos, you're allowed to go there. It's only if it's a Schir Yoim, and it's also even BeDiavad. as far as relying on that opinion in the first place, we said that for the purpose of building a shul, if that's the only way they're going to do it, because they have a limited time and maybe the government will change its mind and whatever, so then there's reason to be lenient. Even that is not so simple. But if you need to, you can rely on that opinion. I don't think we said it about a private home. I don't believe we said a private home at all. I don't think so. I don't
Would
remember
the
saying
private shul
that.
exception be more because of the mitzvah aspect of it, or because
Yeah.
of the hefsek?
It's a mitzvah and
Private home would be more of a hefsek.
no, it's not a hefsed. It's the fact that you might lose on the mitzvah. It's a mitzvah,
So
and
that's-
you might not be able to do it if you don't do it by a certain time. That's what we said.
הנה, אתה רואה? אם זה היה בשכיר יום, שלא ייכנס בו שום ישראל לעולם.
שכיר, אתה אומר, קבלן אנחנו
לא
מדברים.
דיברתי על קבלן. למה אתה מכניס מילים
הנה, רבי, מה דיברנו?
לא נכון.
מה השאלה שלך הייתה?
לא.
What's the question was?
אני אמרתי
שכיר או קבלן? One second, it is the question.
אני יודע
What's the
מה אני
question
אמרתי.
was?
Yeah. We're getting personal now.
What's your question, Rabbi is asking? About שכיר או קבלן?
Rabbi asked me about building a house.
Yes.
He didn't ask me about suffer.
Yeah, who built it?
Okay, so
You said שכיר, then you said, give me both of them.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Okay, so it's both of them.
So I said,
Shomeh?
if it's a skier, the halacha for skier is this, and if it's a kablan, we're talking about the halacha for kablan.
Then we talk
So what's your
about
question?
קבלן.
I don't understand. So what's your question?
יכול לשמוע את עצמי.
אתה צודק, הקול שלי ככה חזק. זה טוב, זה פלפול, מה, זה ככה לומדים. השאלה, the question was about the Kabbalah. And
The question wasn't about the kabbalah. The question was, what's the situation when you build a house? I asked. I said, skier yom, it's a kabbalah.
the Mishnah Berurah also says La'ilam.
Rabbi, what are we talking about? Kabbalah or Safir, Rabbi?
No.
That's where it's Schir Yom, right?
The Mishnah Berurah uses the same expression. He says, "Shelo yikam tzubo la'olam, va'afilo acherim, aval mikol mokom mutar lahanis menu lamoichel enu Yehudi." Oh, you mean are you allowed to buy it back? Is that what you're asking? Allowed to buy it back?
Not him, not the same one who built it. 300 years later, the house is being sold.
לא ייכנס פה שום ישראל לעולם. זה לא משנה, זה...
אז למה אתה נכנס פה לגויים מאיפה אתה יודע מי בנה את זה? ואיפה אתה גר עכשיו? נו, מאיפה אתה יודע מי בנה את זה?
No, if you don't know, you don't know.
מאיפה אתה יודע?
The question's not if you don't know, the question's if you know.
After you buy it from the goy, you don't know it. That's it.
Again, the question is not if you don't know. If you know that the house was built by
How
a
do you
Jew,
know when you buy it?
The kids, the Mishnah Berurah says the same lashon La'ilam. He says you're allowed to sell it to somebody else, and we saw somewhere else that
sell it, okay, but what's it after you sell it? You're allowed to buy it back and live in it?
we saw that not the same person, somebody else.
So where's
We're talking about a Schir Yom, right?
As long as the owner owns it. That's what they'll say. I didn't make it up. I saw it somewhere. I understand, but that's how they understand. I don't remember where we saw it.
You got space here.
It's not clear. It's not clear, but I saw it somewhere. I don't remember where. I saw it somewhere.
You asked them the two cases.
Yeah.
Kabbalah and sure.
Oh, he asked me about a house.
Yeah,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
but
I'm the one who asked which one.
right, you asked one, and then he said
I don't
elaborate
answer
answer.
questions without asking more questions.
Go ahead.
If it's connected to the ground, then it can't be the ones, right?
Huh?
That's one of the
Yeah,
conditions.
No. That's one of the conditions to make it a permissible kabbalah. I didn't say it was permissible. It was done in a forbidden way, but because it's kabbalah, it's only a maris ayin issue. Schir Yom
That's
is essentially
completely different.
kabbalah is permissible in theory. It's only forbidden in practice because of maris ayin.
Rabbi, you mentioned.
It's your turn, it's your turn.
סליחה שנייה, אתם שואלים גם כן שאלות, אני גם כן יושב בשקט.
Listen, 15 minutes on one question is not going to get us very far. Next. Ask your kid. You have 24 hours until tomorrow night.
Okay, just remember. Go ahead.
All right. מותר להגיד לגוי שלא לעשות מלאכה? הוא עומד לעשות מלאכה, ואתה אומר לו, לא, אל תעשה, בבקשה, אל תכבה את האור.
מותר להגיד לו תשאיר את האור, כן, ואל תכבה את האור.
נכון.
להדליק זה אחרת, לכבות מותר להגיד.
שלא לכבות.
לא לכבות.
מה הם להגיד לו לכבות? יש איזשהו דרך להגיד לו לכבות?
לכבות?
כן.
יש כמה דרכים, אם יש חולה שזה צריך מפריע לו, אז אפשר להגיד לו, אפשר בשינוי.
איזה סוג חולה?
אין חולה, יש בשינוי.
אם כבר מדברים על חולה, איזה סוג חולה?
חולה מסוכן?
זה ודאי.
זה ודאי.
מה עוד?
חולה שהוא, יש לו כאבים בעיניים, וממש כואב לו בעיניים, אז זה גם כן, זה...
חולה שהוא לא סכנה.
זה כאבים בעיניים, זה לא סכנה.
לא, חולה רציני, אבל אין בו סכנה. זה אוקיי, מתי עוד?
ניתן להגיד לגוי בשינוי, לכבות אותם.
זה חידוש.
בשינוי.
בשינוי להגיד לגוי לכבות את האור, זה פשוט. בכל מקרה אפשר להגיד לו לעשות בשינוי? It's an interesting idea, אבל אני לא יודע.
לא, שנייה, אולי אני אקח את זה בחזרה, שנייה, רק שנייה. לחולה כן מותר לו להגיד, לבן אדם בריא, מותר לו להגיד שלא יכבה את האור, אבל להדליק את האור, אסור לו.
כן. What does the class say? It's an interesting idea.
I think they don't.
Can you tell a guy to close the light with a shinoi?
I tell him, dude, what do you have to do? Turn on the light, turn off the light,
No, I'm not talking about Choleh Zakana.
Because we were talking about Choleh.
No, I asked him in what ways you can have a guy turn off a light.
Turn it off?
Turn off. So he said one example is a Choleh. One example. Another example, not a Choleh,
Turning off.
is to turn it off with the shinoi.
With Remez, because it's not creating a new one.
Remez is another answer, but he says to the shinoi, tell him to turn it off with his elbow.
What is a goy?
He's a goy, so yeah, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, why would you need a shinoi? You can just, if it's turning off.
It sounds like a shvush,
Yes.
So is that allowed?
A triple
It's a very good
shvush.
question.
What is a goy?
I know he's a guy.
It's
So
not like it's not like it's a goy shino, it's a shino, right?
Strictness.
It's an indirect.
that what?
I think with like goy shino is two shinoim, or is that he's telling the goy itself it's just one shinoy? I mean, just one shvus. Dog knows the answer to the question?
No.
Okay. It sounds like a very good
אם זה
question.
רצון גדול על השם מצווה, שני דייקות.
I don't know the answer by a triple shvus. Triple shvus.
Shut off the light.
Yeah.
Is there any isser?
That's a shvus. Shvus.
ירדתם לעשות איסור דרבנן.
The shvus. If you hold malacha shesel legufa is derabanan. So the turning off the light is derabanan, and then you have the guy doing it, and then he's doing it the shin triple derabanan. I don't know. Shame is the sagar for sure.
I'm going to help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah, but how would you tell the boy to do it?
If
With his
you do it,
elbow.
So you're going to tell him, is that being a little bit too specific? Does that defeat the whole point of Remez?
No. Remez is another answer. No buts. Remez is another answer. I was asking for
Can
ways
you
to turn,
directly ask a boy
to turn it off with his
to
elbow.
turn it off with a shino?
That's his question. Maybe
I will.
because it's triple shino. I don't know. What do you say, Remez? What do you mean, Remez? Give me some information about that.
Well, the whole concept of Remez is if you're not creating a new benefit
Yeah.
and you're
That's other answers.
turning off the lights, you can say it with remez, but you have.
Give me an example of remez.
The baby is having a hard time sleeping because the light is on. It would be much more comfortable for them if the light wasn't on.
That's a good example of a remez. Although, for argument's sake, if it's a baby and needs to sleep, you could tell him directly. Because that's a Choleh and So you could tell him directly. But in general, you could say, I need to sleep. I can't sleep with the light on. So that's a permissible remez.
What about we have the sun, the light from the sun coming. So basically, if it's turned off, it's not really as dark.
So then why do you need it off?
I mean,
turn the sun on.
Why do you need it off for?
That's pulling down the shade. It's turning the sun.
You don't. But why do you need to tell a guy to turn it off? Stam kacha.
No, I thought he was going to say about turning on.
Oh, let's ask about turning on, but let's turn to our long-distance students who have been waiting very patiently here. Daniel, what about turning the light on? Is there any permissible way to have a goy turn a light on Shabbos for you?
Well,
להדליק את האור. אם יש איזשהו דרך שמותר, להגיד לגוי.
I guess you could say, well, it's dark in here or something like that.
Is that simple? Is that simple?
Well, I think the thing is that he needs to do it for himself, really. He can't do it for you. Huh?
How's he going to do it for himself?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can help.
Let me think. I mean, in general, you can't you can't ask him to do it. It's like if you go out, like it's like if you're walking outside and it's dark. I mean, he can bring the candle for himself, but it's
you can bring the candle for himself and you can benefit from it. That's for sure.
You can benefit from it, but just going into a room, I don't think you can ask him to turn it on.
Ask him to turn it on would be asking him to do a Torah level violation. So obviously that's not allowed unless it's a.
There is a scenario.
But then again, you can't really hint to him to do a Torah level violation either.
So you're saying there's no way?
So,
No, it's possible that you're right. I'm not saying it just to.
I remember there was something if you let's say on Shabbos and you were there at the meal and the light went out during the meal. I think I read that in that case there was some way. At least if he would come and do it, you could benefit from it.
Oh, how can you benefit from it?
Because it's the only light, and because it's like Oneg Shabbos.
Oneg Shabbos, you can benefit? I don't know.
If you instead of eating
in the dark, if you have guests and then the light went out, one of them brushed up against it and it's out. Can you tell your friendly neighbor that it's dark in here?
I think if you had enough light that you could eat, but it's just not as comfortable, and then you can enhance the light.
If it's completely dark, you can I think you can have him do it, but
no. Machal got it right. Machal says if it's not completely dark,
right,
you can hint to him to do it because you're not directly benefiting. If there's light coming in from the hall, enough that you could eat with that light, so then you're not considered to be benefiting directly from the light. It's just enhancing your meal. But if it's actually dark, you can't even hint to him because then you're going to be benefiting bodily. Sorry?
It's happened with the candles. You're going light additional candles.
So
yeah, same thing.
I'm going to ask a question.
But I do want to point out there's a chiddush of the Alter Rebbe Madra Basra in the Shulchan Aruch. He says it's not allowed because he's doing malacha with your kalim, with your objects, and you would have to stop him. So there's no point of hinting if you're going to have to stop him.
What's happening if you have a baby screaming over there in dark? Screaming, and then it's out of control.
Form of anguish or
Is it there over there?
Maybe. Could be. I hear it.
Can you tell
For a child, you can tell a goy to do a deraisa. A small child.
You
Yes.
tell a guy who comes into the room, and you say, I would turn the light on for you, but at Shabbos I can't do it. And either they understand or they don't understand.
Not if it's
If Goya there, he
Not if
will,
it's completely
he will
dark.
put it by
You can't-
itself.
You
Rabbi.
can't even go to
No,
Revis
no.
at that point.
If the goy is staying there and is actually turning on for himself,
Yeah, that's different.
and you're
That's
just
different.
informing him that he's allowed to turn on for himself,
Yeah, that's
that's the best.
You know,
Sure, he will-
I read something in Ridyat about if a boy is making coffee
Yeah,
or boiling water
yeah.
to make coffee for themselves on Shabbos, and they happen to make it,
Yeah.
that may still not give you the ability to use that water
If they know you.
If they know you.
Yeah, that's correct. Because they may add for you next time. That's correct.
Rabbi, can I tell my neighbor, do a favor for me, bring me something from my home. You go there, it's dark. You're gonna put it the light for it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm not gonna tell him to turn on the light. I said, can you bring me
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
It's okay.
It's another scenario we can tell direct.
Another scenario that you can tell a goy directly, turn on the light. Emmanuel, go ahead. Bein hashmashas, that's true. Bein hashmashas, you can tell a goy to do a deraisa if it's necessary. You need it.
You can ask
That's
the Lord
correct.
to ask them to light the candle.
What do you mean,
Yeah, but you're still in the
No,
18
it
minutes.
doesn't have to be
anyway,
tzach
so
mitzvah,
eventually.
even just a tzarech.
But you may still be
Sorry.
in your 18 minutes anyway. at that point.
He didn't say 18 minutes, it's Bein hashmashas. But it's true, even in Bein hashmashas, you could have him do it. Question?
So that if lights went out, really the question was if the, what's that thing called, the power box, the
Breakers.
breaker, right, if the breakers went out. So, well, I guess the same idea would be if the lights went out, so you're allowed to invite a guy over and ask him if he'd like something to eat or drink. And if he says yes, so then you say, I would love to give it to you, but unfortunately the breaker is off, I don't have the Shabbat, I can't turn it on. So when he goes to turn it on, he's turning it on for his own benefit.
That would work. But nowadays, you don't have many neighbors that are interested in your chips or your piece of cake. It just doesn't happen, you know what I'm saying? In the olden days, maybe in little shtetl, people were hungry. Nowadays, like, what are you talking about?
Can I get you a cup of tea?
I don't know. I mean, it might work if you have a worker. It might work if you have a worker and you offer him lunch. Okay, then yeah. But your neighbor is not coming in for a cup of tea. I mean, it's just very strange. I don't think it's going to happen.
What is cooking? What is cooking to me? I'm not going to drink that.
I said that, would you like to come over?
I'm not
As he's
going
walking
to
in,
drink
he
that.
goes, what do you need me to turn on?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they already figured it out. That's
Exactly.
what they're doing. Is it the AC? Is it the lights?
Exactly. All right, David, tell me about Shavuos to Shavuos. Shavuos to Shavuos, are you there?
Hi, this is me again. I back to the question. I was just looking here in number 8, and here, and it was where you brought the aruch, and he said it's customary in a few places to be lenient with regarding giving instructions to a non-Jew to light candles for the sake of a Shabbos meal if the candles are extinguished, and it's impossible to eat in the darkness. So that's what I was. That's why I gave that answer.
Yes, I hear you. That is correct, actually. I was wondering if somebody would get that.
There are rabbis who have offered justification for the fact that the sages.
The Aruch is of the opinion that you can have a goy do a malacha for even deraisa for the sake of a mitzvah.
What's the mitzvah?
I mean, I don't know. Shabbos. No, it's not the halach. It's not the halach, but it's an opinion to know about. It's an opinion to impress Rabbi Vosner with.
Oh, okay. So we don't paskin this way. This is just the Aruch opinion.
It's also opinion. No. We also said that it's enough of an opinion not to be moicha. People do it. You don't have to scream at them. And last but not least, we said in a case of mitzvah derabim, like fixing an Eruv or reading from the Sefer Torah, then you can rely on the Aruch.
Okay.
That's enough to mean as the Aruch.
Because it's like to make a lot of people potentially Nefal Shabbos.
Exactly.
That's the indirect result.
Yeah.
But is that the Aruch that says that?
So no, the Chai Odom says
Right,
that, but it's
right.
based on the Aruch.
Right.
Based on the Aruch.
See, but second for miracle, you can allow to tell the Isa. That's what you just said.
According to the Aruch, you can tell a guy to do Yisur Deraisa for a mitzvah. It's not the Ikar LaHalacha, but it's an opinion that's good to know about. Yes.
I actually saw recently that there was something on Yontif, and shul needed a Sefer Torah, and he walked for many hours to the next shul to get one, and they sent the Sefer Torah with a goy.
Exactly. That's an example right there.
Aruch.
That's based on the Aruch, but it's a mitzvah derabim. Kriyas there is a mitzvah derabim.
And the Mitzvah Rabbah, we rely on the Aruch.
Exactly.
Okay.
Chai Adam says that. Correct.
Mitzvah Rabbah, we rely on. So Mitzvah Rabbah, if the shul's lights are out,
So-
so go turn the lights on early.
Ooh.
Flash of the shul.
So a Jew can bring that?
That's an interesting one.
Okay, I see the other answer here. It says, nevertheless, every person should conduct himself stringently.
Correct. Correct.
So
Rafal has a
I
good
did
idea.
not hear what.
I'm going to get back to Shvus just in a minute. Rafal has a good idea. Every time a congregation needs to daven, it's a mitzvah derabim. Why just Kriyas HaTorah? Why not tefillah?
Technically, you can do it outside.
Not if it's at night.
What?
Not if it's at night.
Right. Or let's say if it's a night.
Mosquitoes, yeah.
Daven
He was
outside.
gonna-
No, yeah, they have lights, street lights, but in the shul.
Yeah,
that's
but
fine.
the Cherchat Rabim
Bring the
and
cigar, let's go daven
mosquitoes.
in the parking lot. Right?
Good one.
I don't know. I'll tell you, this thing of mitzvah derabim is a chiddush. This thing of mitzvah derabim is a chiddush, so I'm not going to dispense it easily. It's yesh la'ayin b'zeh. Okay, Joseph, tell me about shvus to shvus. When can you have a goy do a derabanan? You answered correctly. It's a double derabanan, i.e., a goy doing a derabanan. When is it allowed? Always? No. Sorry. Got to disagree with that. There are 3 cases.
Rabbi, can you hear me?
Oh, now I hear you, David. Yes.
I
You can
texted,
answer this.
I texted you my answer.
Oh, I heard something going on in my text, but I didn't realize it was you.
Yeah.
Let's see. It means a certain action can be done if it's too separated from prohibition. Which action? In what case? In what case is my question?
Matzah.
In what case do we allow a goy to do are we allowed to tell a goy to do an Issa D'Rabbanan? 3 cases. Anybody?
Matzah.
One is for a mitzvah.
Not kidding.
Great financial
Mitzvah,
loss,
Hefsed.
for a order.
Mitzvah, Tsar, and Hefsed.
Mitzvah, Tsar, and Hefsed. Rafal says.
And Tsar.
Oh, it was a right. Oh, yeah.
Mitzvah, for the case of a mitzvah, that's correct, like to bring a shofar, lulav, whatever. Tsar, a person who's in pain, or for that matter, a miktzas choyle, we said, a person who has some illness, or hefsed, which the other says has to be hefsed gadol, a great financial loss. That is correct.
Yeah, I'm thinking pizza.
Yeah, so like matzah.
That's what I said. Like
Trick everybody.
Shabbos comes in on let's say
What
Shabbat,
was
and
it?
they bake it on Shabbos.
So what was that question?
That
What was
was
the question?
There
we go.
No, it's-
I thought it was in Yonah the Yonah, and
The kids are, now that I'm talking, I'm realizing there is another case where you're allowed to do a tell a goy to do a mitzvah, Issa D'Oraisa. And that is, yeah, you have one? Where? Yishuv versus Israel, correct.
that was
And-
a contract, right?
Exactly, and I have another one also. A case where you're allowed to tell a goy to do Issa D'Oraisa. Besides what
So the Raisa, so the Rabbanan we're talking about.
D'Oraisa. I flip back to D'Oraisa.
So wait, you should be to tell the Rabbanan, the
D'Oraisa.
So what's the question that the Shuvah decide?
You're allowed to tell a goy to write a contract for your house you're buying in Eretz Yisrael on Shabbos.
That's if it can be done another day.
Yeah.
if it's,
Or if it's
or if it's the first opportune time.
First opportunity, you might miss it, whatever, other people want to buy it. So, but I was thinking something else. We have cases where you're allowed to tell a guy to do a deraisa because we're for the Chacham realize that it's a situation of extreme stress. And if they didn't allow you to tell a guy to do it, you might do it yourself. Which is Mish B'Derech B'Erev Shabbos, Chash Choleh B'Derech, Noisen Kito La'ani, LeNochri. Person who's traveling on Friday afternoon and gets dark, he can give his wallet to a guy. I heard a nice story about that, by the way.
I think before the Pascha, so it can be the Pascha.
No. Yeah, but even if it's after Ben Ishmael, it's a good question. How do you come to?
Yeah.
By that time, it should still be Ben Ishmael. I don't know the answer to that question.
So when you find
but it's not Dafka Ben Ishmael. Even if you didn't realize and already got dark, you can still get it.
why we don't say
In these cases of Shavuos to Shavuos that we're talking about, do you have to hint to them or you can ask them directly?
You can ask them directly.
So when we walk outside the Shabbat with jacket and we did not wear the jacket and then we see money in jacket, we keep that until we go back wherever we want and then slide it outside.
With an Erev or without an Erev?
He has no Eruv, the guy?
No, I'm talking about without an Erev.
Oh, okay.
So the kids, I heard a nice story about that actually. Goes back to a long time ago in Poland, where at that time the chief prosecutor was a Jewish from guy. From time to time, different countries they gave Jews different important positions. The kid said there was a Jew who was coming into a city. It was late. It was Friday afternoon, almost Shabbos. The kitzer, and he had schuyr with him. He had merchandise with him. And they asked him where he got the merchandise from, and he said he bought it from the local peasants. At that time, there was a law in Poland: you were not allowed to do business with peasants. Like you could do business in the cities, but not in the countryside. I don't know. They thought the Jews were taking advantage of these people. Whatever. The kitzer, the police said, "Well, business, peasants, big trouble. We're coming to jail." The kitzer, on the way to the jail, he tries to give them a bribe. So that's the old way to get out of trouble. So one of them was ready to accept it, but the other policeman said, "What? A bribe? What do you think we are? You made a whole thing. This is even worse than your first sin." Kitzer, the whole thing. He's in jail, tried to bribe the police officer. Kitzer, he was in big trouble. He didn't know what was going to happen. The chief prosecutor is a Jew. So as he's, they may set a date for the trial, whatever. As he's cross-examining the witness, not the witness, that person, he says under his breath, as he's walking by, Misha Chash Choleh B'Erev Shabbos, Noisen Kito LeNochri. He just mumbles that Mishnah as he's passing by. So the guy said, the judge says, "No, do you have anything to say?" He didn't say no. "Anything to say in your defense?" He said, "Yeah, I do." He says, "What's that?" He said, "Well, the Jewish law says that on Friday afternoon, if the sun is setting and it's almost our Sabbath, so you have to give your money to a Gentile to carry for you. So you shouldn't have to carry it on our holy day. So I was giving the policeman my money so I shouldn't have to carry it." I said, "What? I never heard of that before. That's very interesting." So we're going to adjourn and we're going to call in the chief rabbi of the city for the next thing. So they called in the chief rabbi. They asked the rabbi to explain if there's such a law. The rabbi said yes, and he explained the whole concept. And the judge said, "Okay, in that case, I see he's an honorable man, and we're going to let him go." But when there was a certain rebbe who used to tell the story, and he would always finish the story. He would say, "You see how important it is to learn. If this guy didn't know the Mishnah, he wouldn't know anything. It wouldn't have helped him."
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't get how they got him out of the peasant problem.
It didn't, but the judge said, he's a good guy. He meant well, so we'll let him go. So, That's it as far as Amira LeNochri. No, is there anything else we have to cover?
David, you missed David because you told Yossi about the shruti fruit.
Okay. So, in our remaining 7 minutes, we'll do all of Muktzah and Choleh BeShabbos too. Okay, so
Yes. We call it, what's his name?
what is the concept of David, you want me to ask you another question, or you I think you were Yotze already. You were Yotze. Next, let's.
Exactly. I was saying there's a lot of interplay between these three.
There is a lot of interplay. Can you tell a guy to move Muktzah? Let's ask that question. Can you tell a guy to move Muktzah? Ronnie says for a chayla. Machal says,
but not for the sake of
for
not
the-
for the sake of the
Protect the
Muktzah.
Muktzah.
exactly, that's the correct answer. You can always tell him to move it not for the sake of Muktzah. Okay, who can tell me, or you can all combine to tell me,
What's the interplay question?
5 levels, high-level Muktzah items. Not items, categories. Categories. If you have 7, I'll take 7.
You add another 2.
I don't remember.
I bought only 5.
I don't remember.
Muktzah mechanat chesed kis klisha after Isser.
No, I'm talking about high-level Muktzah.
Okay, fine. Muktzah mechanat chesed kis. The Muktzah mechanat gufo.
What does Muktzah Machmas Gufa mean?
That it's not a kli, into a kli alav.
Yeah.
And
Good. Machmas Kiss means very expensive. Yeah, what else? What's number 3?
high level of Muktzah.
For
And
Shabbat,
Muktzah mechamat mitzvah is also that category of high level.
Yes. What's an example of Muktzah Machmas
The
Mitzvah?
walls of a sukkah decoration.
No.
Of what?
Not Tefillin. Tefillin is not Muktzah Machmas Mitzvah.
Lulav.
Muktzah Machmas
Like
Mitzvah
like
Decoration
like a
of
Esra,
Esra,
like a Sukkah.
oil,
Correct.
menorah.
Correct. Tefillin is just Kli Shemalach L'Leisa. Yeah, go ahead. We got 3.
Benish Mashos.
If something was Muktzah Ben Hashmashas, correct.
Yeah.
For example,
I guess if you left like
I can try.
money on a pillow.
money on a pillow. So basis l'davar ha'asr. You made something a basis for like a foundation for something forbidden. Ben hashmashas. Yes.
Like you come before Shabbat, you take the wallet and you put it on some.
Correct. We got 4. So
One more.
High
Come on,
level
guys.
Muktzah, that's pretty much it.
I can think of another couple.
Davar shel chavar b'chosek seder ben shmashos.
That is Muktzah, yeah. But I don't know if we gave that a category.
It is in this book.
Sahon Kis, Gufo, Mechamat Yisur Anah Achila, Mitzvah, and Ben Hashmash. This one has the Rebbe. And you add another.
What is ben shmashos?
Something you were Muktzah midayitcha ben hashmashas. I think that's in that category.
This was out the Rebbe.
I don't know if it is actually.
Eitzim, Rabbi.
And also Mechamat Mitzvah.
Eitzim.
Machmas mitzvah we said already. I'm going to say
The Eitzim. They said
Machmas
Eitzim.
Isser. Machmas Isser.
Yisur Anah Achila. This was
Muktzah Machmas Isser. I'm not talking about that it's Asr, that it is Asr.
okay. This one
I'm talking about something you made Asr. Something you made Asr, like Shemen Shebener.
Mitzvah.
Shemen Shebener.
Sahon Kis, Gufo, Yisur, Mitzvah, and Ben Hashmash.
What about
And Miut.
Mius is not Muktzah Gomer. Mius is low level Muktzah. Mius is the same Muktzah as Kli Shemalach L'Leisa. But I want to know about another level, which we didn't, another category we didn't discuss. What about Roy Gris with Simukim? Roy Gris with Simukim. That's related to Ben Hashmashas. Dechoy biyadayim. Anything you were doicha biyadayim in Ben Hashmashas is included in Muktzah. It's similar to buses, yeah. It could be the same as buses. מוקצה מחלוקס, כן.
all of this.
הלכת לעשר, גופי, פרסס, מחובר מחוץ סד משמעשס. We never really went into that. Something that was mechubar, or mechusar tzeda bein hashmashas. Why is that muktzah? As ma? So you're basically maktzah daitcha. You basically it never occurred to you that you would have it. It's not dacha b'yadayim. It's not dacha b'yadayim. You didn't do anything to it. Dacha b'yadayim is something like you made it into a buses. Here's a table. I made it into a buses. Dacha b'yadayim. I took the goyus simukim. I put it on the roof. Dacha b'yadayim. Here.
Yeah, but this one comes before Shabbos.
I'm saying it was never. I wasn't daichet. It was never not muktzah. It was always muktzah. It's on the tree. I can't take it off.
So that's why it says that the apple is a mechubar. So it's a muktzah when you come down after Em Shabbat.
No, but זה לא שלא שאתה שאתה לא חיברת את התפוח לעץ.
No, but it's.
I think
They said here, they give you the example.
כן, לא, אבל זה לא מה שהוא מתכוון.
זה מה שהוא מתכוון.
the kids. I don't think it's dacha b'yadayim. I think it's a thing that is muktzah midaitcha. I think it sounds like another category. We never learned it. Excuse me. Mechusar tzeda. Mechubar mechusar tzeda.
Where we see it.
I don't think we came across it either.
I think we mentioned it.
No, I think we're going to have to add it. It's definitely mentioned Hilchos Yantif. Something that was connected to the ground or is not trapped. A wild animal that was not trapped. It's definitely mentioned Hilchos Muktzah and Hilchos Yantif. If a goy brings you something that when Shabbos came in, it was connected to the ground or Yantif, or it was not yet trapped, it's Muktzah. Not even a goy. You set up a trap before Yantif. You came on Yantif and there's an animal in your trap. Are you allowed? No, Yantif. I'm talking about Yantif. You're allowed to shecht on Yantif. Right? I'm just Muktzah is Muktzah. What's the difference? I'm just giving an example. So the trap caught an animal on Yantif. You can't take it and shecht it because before Yantif you didn't think you were going to get it. You had no way of knowing you were going to get it.
Let me ask you, this animal that you trapped on Shabbos, that mixed up with your other animals, but
that's a general question of muktzah getting mixed up. What about a beitza shenolda b'yamtiv, and it got mixed up with other eggs?
No eggs allowed after Shabbat.
What if it's 1,000? 1 in 1,000.
All 1,000 after Shabbat.
Lama?
After the Chag.
Lama?
Because
דבר שיש לו מתירים, אבל...
דבר שיש לו מתיר. דבר של מניין זה מחלוקס. דבר של מתיר. That's a machlokes. Davar shel minyan is a machlokes with bottle or not. But davar sheish l'matirin is definitely not bottle. Davar sheish l'matirin is what it is.
So in both cases, eggs and animal, none of them going to be...
No, that's correct. Okay, my friends. David Leib has to go, so I hope Sanan is coming.
Sanan is coming?
Can we continue until Hanukkah?
We can, but I want to start right away because
Rabbi, we have a chance to have another shiur this week.
הבעיה שאני הולך מחר לניו יורק ואני חוזר יום שני בערב.
יום שני לא יהיה לנו מבחן?
שני.
לא, ראשון בערב.
ראשון בערב.
ברוך הבא.
שכוייח. Okay, good night, everybody. Good evening. I'll see you next week, 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you.